we have some new vehicle inventory data, and it looks as though in the last month or so, new vehicle sales have seen a healthy boost. Of course, potentially fueled by things like end of month, end of quarter, but also by tariffs. New vehicle inventory levels at the start of April decreased from March and were lower than in early April 2024, with inventory levels at 2.69 million units, down 10.2% from the 2.99 million units at the start of March, and down 2.4% from a year ago. And the average day supply sat at 70 days, with the average vehicle listing price at $47,962. But we'll go back to that here in a minute. Right now, I want to instead focus on inventory levels, which, as I mentioned, is at 2.69 million units, with the average day supply sitting at 70 days. And with this in mind, whenever we take a look at individual automakers, you can see that there are some automakers that are seeing inventory piling up left and right, while others still have very small amounts of inventory. Now, the good news here is that the number of automakers that have more than double the average amount of inventory, those automakers are starting to dwindle down to basically nothing. But the one automaker that does fall into this category, so automakers that have more than double the amount of average inventory, that automaker is Jaguar. And you can see here that according to this graph, we don't even know the exact amount of inventory that Jaguar has. It just states that this is an automaker with day supply at least twice the industry average, which means that this car has at least 140 day supply, which means that at the current sale pace that the car market is selling cars at, it would take 140 days for Jaguar to deplete their entire inventory. You can see here that Ram, Dodge, and Lincoln, three automakers that had consistently fallen in that double inventory category for a very long time, they are really getting their inventory situation under control. Lincoln has 127 days supply, Dodge has 111, and Ram has 110. Now, we've talked about this on this channel a lot, but specifically Stellantis, so Dodge, Ram, Jeep. This is an automaker that put a huge focus on the initiative to get rid of inventory at the end of 2024, and they did this largely by discounting prices, and the initiative worked because you can see that their inventory has declined drastically over the last 6 months or so. And as we see here, according to this data, Stellantis brands, while they are seeing a major improvement with their inventory situation, some are still faring better than others. For example, Chrysler has 76 days supply, Jeep has 140 supply, Ram with 110 day supply, and Dodge with 111. And even though under the Stellantis umbrella, inventory situations are improving, you are still seeing massive discounts across these different automakers. For example, there are a ton of Jeeps selling for a pretty steep discount, like this 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sport, which has an MSRP of $51,245. This car has 11 miles on it, and it's being sold for $44,045. And over the last 49 days, you can see that it has seen $5,000 in total price reductions. We have this Rubicon here, which has recently seen a $6,000 price reduction. This is a 2024 model, even though it is brand new, which is never a good place to be in for an automaker or a dealership, given the fact that we are in the second quarter. And you can see that this price has been yo-yoing like crazy over the last 218 days. And while it has seen $6,500 in price reductions, you can see that the price has gone down, gone up, gone down, gone up. Truthfully, this car deserves to be sitting on dealership lots for as long as possible. Or we have this 2025 Wrangler Rubicon, which has a MSRP of $67,490, but you can see that it's listed for $61,821, with a variety of price drops over the last 131 days. But discounts aren't limited to just Jeep, you're also seeing them with Ram and Dodge as well. For example, this 2025 Ram 1500, which has an MSRP of $65,000, but this car is being listed for $53,875. And similar to the Jeep that we just saw, this price has been yo-yoing a bit. This 2025 Dodge Durango has a $47,980 MSRP, and it's listed for $41,835. This one's seeing over $4,000 in price reductions over the last 198 days. And another 2025 Dodge Durango with an MSRP of $46,780, but you can pick this thing up for $39,000. This one's seeing just one massive price reduction at the end of March. So this inventory improvement on the part of Stellantis is a bit of a double-edged sword, because sure, you are seeing the inventory improve, which is no doubt a good thing, but it is only seeing improvements because of the fact that dealerships under the Stellantis umbrella are having to discount their cars like crazy, and you're seeing this across the board with all of their different makes and models. And as we showed just a moment ago, Lincoln is an automaker that has 127 day supply, and you are seeing discounts that are similarly as aggressive as Stellantis, like this 2025 Lincoln Aviator Reserve, which has an MSRP of $78,950, and this car is listed for $71,353, seeing one massive price drop at the beginning of April. This 2025 Lincoln Nautilus Premier, which has an MSRP of $59,000, but you can purchase this for $53,000. This one's seeing a couple of different price drops drops over the last couple of months, and even their Lincoln Navigator is seeing some pretty big price reductions. Now, granted, this one is a 2024 model and it does have 3,000 miles on it, so not exactly brand new, but it is classified as new here on cars.com. And you can see that while this car has an MSRP of 118 grand, the car is being listed for $98,000. In fact, in the case of Lincoln, their 2024 new model vehicles are going for extremely aggressive discounts. Like this 2024 Lincoln Navigator Reserve, which has 374 miles on it, this car has an MSRP of 111 grand, basically 112 grand, and this car is being sold for $84,000. That is almost $30,000 below MSRP. And while the 2025 Lincoln Navigators aren't selling as prevalently for as huge of a discount, you can find them. Like this one right here, which has an MSRP of 108 grand, and it's being listed for 98 grand. Or this one right here, which is selling for a 10K discount. Now, whenever we look at dealership inventory, you can see that there are some of the normal ones that we've been seeing in the low inventory sector of this graph. For example, Lexus has a 30-day supply, Toyota with 32, and Honda with 46. Across all of the different automakers, there are about 8 of them that have over 100-day supply. There are about 8 others that have below average day supply, so days supply of below 70 days, and the rest sit somewhere in between 70 and 100 days. And as we've talked about on my channel a million times before, these automakers that fall in this middle category, so brands like Mitsubishi, Mercedes, Cadillac, Nissan, Hyundai, Ford, these automakers are very frequently discounting cars. And while automakers like Honda, Lexus, and Toyota, those discounts are harder to find and they are typically less significant, they also exist as well. But what this data does very clearly show us is that if you are someone who's looking for an aggressive, steep discount, then going with those high inventory automakers is definitely the move. Now, we've gone over inventory and reviewed some of the different automakers that have high and low inventory, so right now I want to go over different prices. Now you can see that the average vehicle transaction price is $47,462, which is a nice decline over the last couple of months, and while it is still technically up from a year ago, it is pretty close to some of the lowest levels that we've seen in years. Down 0.6% from the previous month of March, where it was at $48,272, but about 1.9% higher than what we saw a year ago. Now the not so great news here is that while vehicle listing price did go down, so did vehicle incentives, which isn't great. This is especially not good considering the fact that vehicle incentives typically do go up at the end of the month, end of quarter, because that's whenever incentives are increased in order to stroke sales. And the reasons why we possibly may have seen incentives decrease in the month of March could come down to a number of different things, including demand. The higher demand, the less of an incentive there is to offer an incentive, but it could also been a bit due to tariffs. It is possible that dealerships knew that they had a bit of an upper hand given the fact that tariffs were to be implemented at the beginning of April, so as a result, dealerships didn't want a discount. But despite the fact that incentives were lackluster in the month of March, incentives are without a shadow of a doubt the largest improvement that we've seen in the new car market post-pandemic. You can see here that while new car prices have sort of just been plodding along, incentives are inching closer and closer to pre-pandemic levels, with the average incentive pre-pandemic sitting at about 10 to 11%, and today it's at 7%, and its peak was sitting around 8%. Now, we of course have plenty of room to go, but this is a massive improvement nonetheless. Now, we have seen car market improvements over the last couple of months, with inventory increasing, prices have gone down, and overall incentives have gone up. But the bad news is that experts believe that all of the different data points are pointing towards the fact that car prices will increase this summer, with the executive analyst at Cox Automotive saying, all signs point towards higher prices this summer as existing pre-tariff inventory is sold down to be eventually replaced with tariffed inventory. How high prices rise for consumers is still very much to be determined, as each automaker will handle the price puzzle differently. Should the White House posture hold, our team is expecting new vehicles directly impacted by the 25% tariff to see price increases in the range of 10 to 15%. In addition, considering the market dynamics, we also anticipate seeing at least a 5% increase in prices of vehicles not subjected to the full 25% tariff. There is no way around it. Tariffs are going to push new vehicle prices higher in the US. And so there you guys have it, straight from the horse's mouth. That is what we can expect to see in the next couple of months. Like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.